Hi, it's Jill here from Lavender and Friends, your source of essential oil education and inspiration, and today I'm being joined by the wonderful Katie from Acorn Midwifery. Now, as you guys know, I've been doing a series on MythBusters addressing some common myths around essential oils and their usage. Now, today's myth I'll be discussing is that essential oils are not safe if you're pregnant. Now, what better person to speak to than Katie, who is actually a wonderful midwife, and she may be a bit of a familiar face to you guys as she did graciously allow us to film her talk at the Central Coast Oil Expo, so you can scroll back through my videos and find that one if you like. Now, Katie, thank you so much for joining us today. Would you mind starting by giving us a bit about your resume? So, how long have you been a midwife and what's your specialty area?
Yeah, no worries, thanks for having me. So I've been a midwife for about 16 years now. I trained here on the Central Coast at Gosford Hospital, and I've been back and forward in the years. So I'm currently back at Gosford Hospital working in the postnatal ward at the moment, but in those times I've predominantly done continuity of care midwifery, so where a woman books in with the known midwife at when she finds out she's pregnant, she has all her antenatal care, labour and birth and postnatal care through the same person. So that's where my passion is and that's what I love doing. I've done some remote work, so been fortunate enough to teach registered nurses, allied health workers, AMBOs and doctors in our remote communities. So communities where we have women having babies and no midwife there to care for them. So doing some of that. I've taught at the universities in Sydney, two of the major universities in Sydney, and I've had my own private practice.
So definitely someone who knows what she's talking about. We're very thankful you could come with us today. And what got you interested in essential oils, and why in particular did you start using doTERRA?
So I've been using essential oils for the whole time I've been a midwife. So for 16 years I've been using essential oils, and I remember working with two amazing midwives up at Wyong when I first started, and I wanted to be those midwives. And they had both in their previous employment been home birth midwives. They were such women-centered midwives, and they were very much into natural therapies. And so, you know, they did Reiki, they did massage, reflexology, and they used essential oils. So way back at the beginning of my career, we used essential oils. But, of course, we were fearful of essential oils. And, you know, there was very much, these are the ones that you can use and you can't use anything else. Yeah. So for 15 years, I used essential oils with fear. And then I was introduced to doTERRA through Vicky Drenner, and she got me into doTERRA. And I have a favourite saying, which is, you do the best you can with what you know, and then when you know better, you do better. And so that's where I see my essential oil journey coming from. And I started using doTERRA personally in January of this year, 2017. And since then I have introduced that into my midwifery practice.
Yep. Now, you guys will be familiar with Vicky Drennan. She's been interviewed by us most recently talking about emotions. So we love Vicky very much here.
Yeah.
Now, as you said, there is a bit of a myth around essential oils not being safe for pregnancy, or a very limited use for essential oils if you are pregnant. Now, would you say there is any truth in this myth? Are there any oils that you should be avoiding, or in particular, is there any particular application method like topical or aromatic or taking internally that should be avoided when someone is pregnant?
Yeah, okay. And this is where it all comes down to, doesn't it? When you're talking pregnancy, everyone wants to be sure that them and their babies are safe. And I just need to remind you and everyone that's listening that I'm not an aromatherapist. Yep. I'm not trained in essential oils. I am a trained midwife who uses oils. Yep. So yeah, of course, there's some that you shouldn't use. There's always going to be, and regardless of whether you're pregnant or you're not pregnant, there'll be some oils which your body is more sensitive to than other oils. Yep. So absolutely, you know, take it easy with your oils, particularly if you're new to them during your pregnancy, because your body is really sensitive, and always refer to your midwife or medical practitioner. Yep. In saying that, generally speaking, from my point of view, Clary Sage is the one that you don't use in pregnancy. You can use the Clary Calm because it's a blend of the oils, and it helps regulate your hormones, and it's a really good balancing hormone for women. Yep. it's just the clary stage.
Straight carriage stage.
That you shouldn't use during pregnancy.
Yeah.
You know, there are some other things. So rosemary said to increase your blood pressure. So if you've got blood pressure, then, you know, they say, some resources say not to use rosemary. Some say it's completely fine. So again, it's about playing with what you can and what you can't use, and diluting potentially a little bit more than what you ordinarily would, and then increasing the dilutional ratios as it works. The other thing, so clary sage, I personally say to use from about 37 weeks, because
when you're ready to get the baby.
From 37 weeks is when we classify you as being term.
Yeah.
You will see resources that say don't use clary sage until 40 weeks, because technically 40 weeks is when you're due.
Yeah.
But 37 weeks is fine. The other thing is peppermint in the postnatal period, because for some women that can decrease milk supply.
Yep.
So they're, generally speaking, the two that I say use with caution, but be mindful of what your body, how your body responds.
Yes, listen to your body, and also, you know, let your doctor know as well, especially if you're using the essential oils. That's something that's, you know, we love our doctors, we love our midwives, we want to work with them.
That's exactly right, yeah.
And if someone is looking at falling pregnant, how do you think that using doTERRA oils could possibly benefit them, and are there any oils they should be avoiding if they're trying to fall pregnant?
So again, I've had heaps of inquiries about the use of essential oils for fertility, and it's really hard, because I think for a lot of us it goes beyond just essential oils. We need to remember that for me, essential oils support well-being. So they're not the answer to everything. So women who are having trouble with fertility need to look at diet, exercise, general health and well-being, of which doTERRA can absolutely help. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with using the supplements, so the daily supplements, the lifelong vitality packs, they can definitely be used. Looking at increasing your metabolism, your slim and sassy, look at balance, look at some of the what was I looking at earlier, doing cleansing your body, basically looking at cleansing your liver, cleansing your system, making sure that your immunity is healthy. So getting your frankincense out and using that every day. You know, looking at your hormones generally, so your clary calm
is going to help
we talked
with that.
about will help with that. So you can use clary sage, but I think if you're looking at fertility issues, it's a very fine line between having fertility issues and being pregnant. And if you're worried about not sustaining a pregnancy, then I wouldn't be using clary sage in that fertility time, because it could have some impacts on you.
So it's sort of about getting your body in the optimum wellness, well-being, and, you know, the optimum health to be able to have a baby. And of course, doTERRA oils, it's about being proactive with your health, which is something I completely agree with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would say, once someone is expecting, what oils would you recommend to them in that first trimester? And in particular, I know for me personally, I had the most awful morning sickness, and it's the worst because you can't tell anyone that the reason you feel like you're going to chunder is because, you know, you're not telling anyone. So I guess as well, are there any particular oils for morning sickness and just in general for the first trimester?
Yeah, so your digestion is awesome. You know, women that have nausea or that have the doTERRA oils, they swear by it. They love it. Digestive issues, it's all over.
Can't go past Digestin.
And ginger. I think ginger is fantastic. It's been around forever. My grandmother talks about having ginger when she was pregnant because of the nausea. It's just a different way of taking it now. So, you know, ginger is fantastic. And as well as that, you want to look at your relaxation. So you want to look at your aroma touch. You want to look at your lavender and making sure that you're sleeping well. And eating a high protein diet. So I think sometimes we don't want to eat because we feel nauseous.
Oh God, the thought of red meat when
But you know what? Red meat's actually the best thing for you. Because it then can. It's a need for protein often, so it'll get you over that hump.
I did live on Cheerios for the first 6 weeks. That was all I could eat was just Cheerios.
And that's so bad for us, and so bad for our developing babies.
Yes, but if you
it's what gets you through.
Yes, true. You'd given me a steak, I would have been like,
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Now, just I think you mentioned you asked before, and I didn't actually talk about it.
Yep.
Is how to take it. So
Yep.
there really is again no restrictions on how you use your doTERRA
Yep.
oils between pregnancy and non-pregnancy.
Okay.
So your digestion, you can massage it into your belly. You know, you can ingest your ginger. You can diffuse them if that makes you feel better. Making sure you have your lemon every morning in your water. For everyone.
Yeah.
But you know, it's fantastic to get your metabolism going with pregnancy, to make sure that your body is at its healthiest. And I tend to find that women who are looking at using essential oils, they're in tune with their body. So they know what's going on. They're proactive in their health.
Yeah.
And so you will know how you feel. You'll know if it's just a nausea associated with pregnancy, or if you need some added protein, or if you just need to kickstart that metabolism in the morning. You tend to know what's happening.
I found for me going walking, like it was the last thing I felt like doing, but if I would get out and get walking, and then I'd always feel a bit better afterwards.
That's exactly right. And you'll find that. You'll find what works.
Yeah. And once they're into that second and third trimester, what sort of oils would you be suggesting?
So we'll come to third trimester, because I've got some which are my favourites.
Yeah.
But the second trimester, it's about looking after yourself. So it's about making sure you have heaps of sleep. It's about making sure that you are grounded and balanced, and spending the time with yourself and with your baby. You know, you want to get to know this baby. You want to learn the patterns. You want to know what the movement cycles are like. You want to be able to tune into what's going on. And we have such busy lives that we forget, because for a lot of us, we are healthy, well women when we're pregnant, particularly once we're into the second trimester and we're over the nausea. So your lavender has to be number one go-to. You want to ensure that you are balanced with our beautiful grounding blend. You want to have your lemon. You want to diffuse what makes you feel good, you know, and use some of those things. I think in the second trimester, it's a really good time for massage. And so, you know, your aroma touch, your lavender, your balance for those beautiful massage techniques is really important.
Yeah, so guys, get the massage out, give her a massage.
Yeah, absolutely. Light touch massage. Going to third trimester, and, you know, the second half of third trimester, your light touch massage is awesome. So, you know, when I don't know if you ever did, but when you were little, we used to do that, you know, the spider crawling up your back,
crisscross
the edge, and comes down, and you get goosebumps.
Yep.
So the goosebumps are a release of oxytocin.
Really?
And it's our feel-good hormone. So, and the same thing. So if you massage up and down the arm, or up and down your partner's back, or, you know, for the light touch massage to get you into labour, I talk about coming around nipple stimulation, that gentle massage with our aroma touch, but introducing our clary sage. So you've got some of the clary sage. So for me, in the third trimester, the essential oils, clary sage, ylang ylang, frankincense, aroma touch. Yeah, they're my massage blends. I do reflexology, foot massages. I show partners how to get some of that stimulation happening with those oils, because they're amazing.
Oh, we did for both my pregnancies, we did acupuncture and acupressure, and I swear by it. Honestly, I think it really helped. We didn't have the oils at the time, which we had of, but yeah, no, definitely that touch, that physical touch, and plus as well, I guess, for the partner to be able to connect as well.
It's so important, because often they feel disconnected. And I remember having a conversation with a woman. She lost her baby at 18 weeks, and it was a horrible scenario, but we were all together, you know, her husband, myself, and I remember going to him the next day and saying, "How you going?" And he said to me, "I didn't really feel like it was my baby yet."
Yeah.
And I think that's a struggle that a lot of men have, in that we focus on the pregnancy being about the woman. We don't talk about the connection that the partner or the significant other needs to start having from now with that baby. So by doing some of that light touch massage, by doing it and talking to the baby, just sets you on such a great start for that baby's life.
Yeah, oh, completely. And I guess once someone is in labour, what oils would be used for in labour? And also, are essential oils actually allowed in hospitals? I know you can't have candles.
Yep. So you're definitely allowed to use essential oils. You do need to talk to your midwife or healthcare provider about how you're going to do that. We do have essential oils at the public hospital that you can use. Absolutely, they're there. The issue that you may have is whether there's any in stock.
Someone uses them all up on you.
So I tend to say take your own.
Yeah.
You know, have your own there, and you know, use them as you can. And again, you know, you may need to be creative. So I went to use the diffuser the other week only to find that it was no longer there.
Oh, someone nicked
So
it.
I think it had broken. But you know, as I said, be creative. Get a cup of hot water and put a couple of drops of the oils that you want to use in it. Have your massage blend. Have your carrier oil. There is carrier oil at the public hospital. So use that sort of stuff. Your balance is very important in labour and birth, and not just for you as a labouring woman, but for your support people and for your midwife. You know, it really helps to keep everyone grounded. Mixed with a little bit of wild orange or citrus
Something
bliss
uplifting.
to uplift you, so that you've got the energy but you're focused and you're aware of what's going on. So that's one of my favourite labour blends.
I love balance. It's my daily go-to as a mum with 2 young children. We use a lot of balance.
Yeah, I know. We do too. I've got little 5 ml bottle, like 5 ml roller balls I've put the balance into, and so it's like, here, have this, you know, have you rubbed it on?
I keep it in my keyring. Yeah. This is my little keyring. If you are a labouring woman, make yourself a little labour pack.
Yes. Essential
one. And I guess once the baby is out, what sort of oils would you suggest postpartum?
So I've been playing around with some peri sprays lately. I gave one to a friend of mine for her baby shower recently, and she's just bought one off me for, she went to a baby shower. So she's like, now I know. Lavender, cypress. Cypress is good for circulation. So I forgot to mention, in pregnancy, if you've got that edema in your legs, then a massage with cypress is awesome. And then postnatally, it's great for hemorrhoids.
So that's a good one.
Your lavender, your cypress, and your frankincense in your peri spray. If you're needing any suturing done at the hospital, what I used to do is add a couple of drops at the end to the wash that I did. You know, we know it's antifungal, antibacterial, anti-everything. So a couple of drops in that, and then a couple of drops of lavender on your peri pads. Help fight the bacteria and make the bin
make it smell good.
Make the bin smell good. So that's awesome. Geranium's great for babies, so it helps break down jaundice. So those little livers, it helps with that. And some Frankie for the baby as well is beautiful.
Good thing frankincense is the if there's a 200-point order this month, if your order's over 200 points, you will get a free bottle of frankincense. So if you're pregnant, definitely stock up on frankincense. I think it's one you can use.
And you know, I bought it into the November.
Oh,
it was my November order frankincense. I was like, damn.
I was like making my bottle like last. I'm like, gotta get to December.
I didn't know it was coming. I was blindsided.
I'd been pre-warned because apparently they do it most years. So I was like, come on. And then I got really scared that it wasn't going to happen. And so one thing I will mention as well is postnatal depression does affect 1 in 7 women and 1 in 10 men. So I actually had it very badly with my first child, and it's something I'm very passionate about raising awareness and talking about. Would you mind actually going through, I guess, some signs of postnatal depression, and also if someone is suffering from postnatal depression, what would some advice be, I guess, for them?
So the numbers are huge, you know, and I make sure when I'm working at the hospital, I talk to women about the instance of postnatal depression for them and their partners, because I think sometimes we really forget that it's there for our partners as well. And it's really hard to know what the signs are. It's so individual. If you've got a history of depression, then you're more likely to experience postnatal depression. And I tend to think that those women are at an advantage because they know what it feels like.
Yeah.
They know what depression feels like, and they know what normal is. So I actually feel comfortable for those women to pick up on some of the signs. It's really hard for women that don't have depression and that don't have that history of it. So, you know, I think it's about having a conversation, about being open about your emotions and feelings, being aware that they will go up and down because the symptoms are different for everyone.
Yeah.
At the public hospital, at least, we give you a little list of phone numbers when you're going home. The very bottom number is the mental health intake line. Really important that you seek help because, you know, when our mums had us, I don't know what it was like when you had your babies, but no one spoke about postnatal depression. They were your emotions and feelings. You kept them to yourself, and that's just how it was.
Everyone just gets a little sad after baby. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. And some people do, but for some people it's more. And so if it is more for you, then you need to get help. And there's no shame in that anymore. But let's try and elevate the mood in the room. So let's use some citrus bliss. Let's use some elevation. Let's make sure we're wearing our balance and diffusing that as well. And, you know, getting up each day, having a shower, looking at our babies and doing the best that we can. And knowing that you don't birth your baby and suddenly everything clicks in.
Oh,
because
yes.
I think that's part of, we have high expectations of ourselves nowadays, and we think, I'm a mother now.
Yeah.
What's wrong? I should know what's going on, and we don't, and it's okay not to.
Yeah, and that's why I often like to bring it up and mention it, because I was very fortunate in that my husband has had anxiety issues, and so he recognized it in me, and I could get that support and I could get that awareness, and I don't mind talking about it. But I know for a lot of women there is kind of that, I guess, that stigma about not wanting to admit to it or not wanting to seem like we have to be these perfect mums, these perfect lives.
Yes.
And that's one thing I try to talk about a lot, because I want people to break through that stigma.
Yeah, absolutely.
And another thing I'll mention is we interviewed Byron a couple weeks ago about the myth that essential oils are just for girls, and we talked about how, you know, guys need the oils too.
Yeah.
And obviously the essential oils aren't just for the ladies, and, you know, the husbands, the men, the partners could use the oils.
Yeah.
What would you suggest for the men throughout the stages of the conception, the pregnancy, the labor, postpartum? What oils do you think might benefit some of the guys?
You know, it's really hard again because, you know, what works for me might not work for you, and therefore may not work for the men in our lives as well. But what you want to do is you want to use the oils, and I always find, get your oils out and have a smell. What makes you feel good?
Yeah.
And you use that. And don't check the book, because the book might say that you want to use geranium and you hate geraniums, but you love, you know, the rose rollerball that we've got now, or you know, it says to use cypress for edema, but you find that cypress is shit and the lemon's really good. You know, like, you have to smell your oils and get them out there. But as I said before, balance and grounding is really important, particularly, you know, during a pregnancy and birth and into that new parenting stage where you're going through all this new stuff and it's crazy. Some of the elevation stuff is fantastic for men, and our vitamins, you know, our lifelong vitality packs and the other vitamins that doTERRA have to support general health and well-being, because the women have gone through the physical process of labour and birth, and they're relying on their partners. And they need their partners to be healthy and well, you know, as well.
Yep. And finally, last question. What is your personal favourite oil or oil combination? What do you love the best?
Oh, it depends. It depends how I'm feeling. You know, I must admit that lately I've needed a lot of motivation. But we're in December, you know.
It's the end of the year.
And I'm loving the peppermint in the motivation. So I just find it amazing. But I can't go through the day without wearing my balance.
Yeah.
So balance is essential to wear, and a little bit of motivation and peppermint at the moment to get me through. Lovely.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. As always, if you'd like to learn more about how you can get your access to these wonderful essential oils we've been talking about, you can jump on my website, which is Lavender and Friends, www.lavenderandfriends. I'd love it if you like this video to maybe tag some pregnant friends or friends that have young children that might be interested. And of course, as always, thank you so much to Katie for joining us, and I hope you guys have a lovely day.